The PTG Podcast, Episode 2. Welcome to the PTG Podcast. My name is Paul Groseclose, also known as PTG, and this is the podcast for young filmmakers like myself. In these episodes, I will cover everything you need to know to make great films and content for YouTube from your bedroom. In this episode of the PTG Podcast, I'll be explaining how you can produce high-quality films just with your phone. Enjoy. Hello guys, welcome back to the PTG Podcast. As I just introduced myself, I am Paul Groseclose, also known as PTG, and in this episode, I'll be explaining to you guys how you can make high quality films just with the phone you guys already have and you're listening to this podcast on. And before I get into this podcast, I know this sounds very repetitive because every YouTube outlet or wherever you're looking for advice to make great films, they always say, use your phone, just use the camera app, it's great, you can make great films. I hear you, I was in your position, you really can't. Just making films with the camera app, with auto exposure, autofocus, it doesn't work. And I was in the same situation that a lot of you guys are probably in right now. I didn't have a whole bunch of money. I wasn't able to just go out and buy a really expensive camera, but I had my iPhone. Now, before I had an iPhone 7, I had an old Canon SX520, and that served me very well making content for my YouTube channel, and I'll probably go into that camera into a different podcast when I talk about the best cameras for different price ranges. But when I got my iPhone 7, I was noticing that the camera was actually way better than the cheap DSLR that I had bought a year back. So that really struck me because I'd always watched those videos, use your phone, they're better than a lot of stuff than you get, but I never believed that. So I started researching some camera apps so I could get the best out of my phone. Now, just to put this into perspective, I used my iPhone 7 to create movies for just about a year. And this is not a paid promotion by Apple or anything, but I will say that I won an award with a film that I filmed on my iPhone. Stroke a documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. I'll put a link to it on the page of this podcast, but I filmed a documentary about the stroke that I had 2 years ago, and I filmed that completely on my phone before I had a good camera, and I won an award with it, and it looked amazing. But I'll probably go into that experience a lot more deeper in a different episode of this podcast. So the first thing you need when you're making a film is a good script. And I use a great software called Celtics. Now, you can use Celtics for free online on the web at Celtics.com. I'm pretty sure that's the address. I'll put a link to that at www.paulgroseclose.com/podcast002. But Celtics is a free script writing platform, and you can also get a free app on the App Store called Celtics Script Writing, and you can create scripts for free just from your phone. And now, after you have a great, wonderful script, you need something to film your new movie on, and that's where your phone's camera comes in. Now, it all depends on what phone you have, but a lot of phones nowadays will at least shoot 1080p video, if not even 4K. And 1080p video is full HD and 4K is ultra HD, and both of those look amazing on all screens. So at the beginning of this podcast, I noted that the built-in camera app on your iOS or Android device is not that great. There are a lot of pre-built-in settings, especially on iOS. So here's what I would recommend you guys doing. There is an app on the App Store and the Google Play Store called Filmic Pro. I will have a link to that on the page of this podcast, but you can search for Filmic Pro on your App Store. Filmic Pro is a $15 app that lets you have all the features of a high-end camera built into your phone, and it's really amazing, and I've done a whole lot of great things with this app. Now, it is $15, so you will have to put in some of your money, but compared to a professional grade camera with, for instance, the GH4 that I have right now is $1,000, no lens. $1,000 or $15 to have all the features of that camera. Now, obviously, you can't beat a DSLR, a good DSLR like the GH4, but to start off with, you can get some really, really amazing and great stuff just from your phone. Now, once you have the app, you may notice that there is also an in-app purchase of $10. That purchase is up to you. There's a lot of stuff that purchase will allow you to do, but the main thing that it lets you do is to shoot in log. Now, shooting in log is very special because it's very, very dull and bland and the colors are not vibrant. Now, you may be like, why would you want that, Paul? That sounds so stupid. I want to have great, vibrant colors. I want the amazing color palette. But if you want to get into color correction, I would definitely look into that $10 in-app purchase to let you shoot in log. Log really just lets you have full control of all the colors. You can make sure to crush those blacks, brighten up the whites, and honestly, look it up online. You will get some great quality footage, great vibrant imagery from log. But you have to put some work into it. So honestly, it's really up to you. And the last thing we need to talk about is editing. Now, I myself am definitely a computer editor. Unless I needed to, you would never catch me editing on my phone. I feel like I have so much more manipulation possibilities on the computer than I do in my hand. So that said, I know all of you guys don't have a computer, and I will go into some great computer softwares, free and paid, in upcoming podcasts, but I don't know when those will all come out. But since I know you guys don't all have computers that you guys can edit your videos on, so if you are a iOS user, I would definitely try and download iMovie. Now, I think that's free on iOS. I'm not completely sure. You'd have to check, but iMovie is a great software. I'm pretty sure it comes with a lot of the phones nowadays, iOS-wise. But check that out. It's a pretty good software. You guys can edit some of your videos on there. It's a lot like the computer version of iMovie, just a little bit dumbed down. And if you're on Android, I haven't tested this out yet because I don't have an Android device, but look at Power Director Video Editor app. I'm pretty sure that app is free. But yeah, I saw a YouTube video on it a little while ago. It looks pretty decent. It looks a lot like iMovie. They're a lot alike, it looks like. So yeah, go check out those editing softwares out. I don't have much experience in the mobile editing world. As I just said, I am definitely a computer guy in that sense. If you guys want to look at any of the links that I talked about today, any of the app links, or my short film Stroke a Documentary that I filmed completely with my iPhone and an external audio source, I will have a link to all that stuff at www.paulgroseclose.com/podcast002. Okay, I guess that's gonna wrap up this episode. I will see you guys next Sunday.